In this episode of Genius Digital Marketing, we're going to be talking about your multi-channel communication game plan. There's actually four main ways that businesses communicate with consumers digitally. Those four ways are email, social media, web search, and text messaging. All right, that being said, I want to mention that we're going to have a deep dive, a 5 minute or so crash course on each one of these topics, so be sure to watch them. All right, the first digital marketing channel that I want to talk about that's really important is email. It's actually really messy because there's so much spam in the world, but there are a couple of best practices that you can follow to make sure that your call to action gets actually delivered and in front of people. The first way is by sending company emails. So in this case, I would send a message from Giant Partners to you, and then there would be a Giant Partners logo at the top of the email, and it would clearly be coming from a business. The second way to communicate with consumers directly is through personal style, simple text communications. What I mean is you would receive an email from Jeremy Koenig, and then that email would be formatted in a way that looks like I typed it up myself using, of course, personalization tokens like first name and company name within the body of the email so that it looks like and is perceived as being an email that I wrote one-off. All right, the second way that companies engage consumers is social media advertising. This is different than just everyday social media management. This is actually when you use a custom list and then you target people that are on that list with a call to action. There are three main forms of social media advertising that you need to make sure you're utilizing. The first is videos, the second is images, and the third is messenger or a chatbot. What you're going to find once you've identified, perfected your customer list and your call to action is that people really respond differently to videos and pictures and automated chatbot communications. And so you're going to want to make sure that you're out there constantly refining and testing those types of communication. The third main way that businesses communicate with consumers is through web search advertising and retargeting. This channel really takes three main forms. Google results, specifically what shows up in Google or Bing when you ask a question that show up at the top. They used to be grayed out, they're not so much anymore. You want to make sure that your call to action is there. YouTube ads, these are those 15 to 30 second commercials that play at the beginning of a YouTube video that somebody's trying to watch. And then thirdly, banner networks, which are those squares, those horizontal ads that kind of follow you around the whole internet as you're searching for random things and you're looking at random websites. All right, I'll speak to the specifics of each one of these in just a little bit of detail so that you can get a more of a clear understanding of how they work. So Google results, that one's pretty clear. Again, it's when somebody searches for a question, your answer to their question, aka your content, aka your call to action, will show up at the top. This is important because now Google puts like 6 or 8 different paid search results at the top of search results, and the organics are pushed really low, so you want to make sure that your call to action is there. Both YouTube ads and the Google Display Banner Network are triggered when somebody comes to your website on one of your landing pages, and your pixel, that's a little snippet of code, gets embedded in their web browser, and then basically your ads and your commercials follow them around. That's what retargeting is called. All right. The fourth main way that businesses engage with consumers, and when I say consumers, I really mean other businesses if you're a B2B, or consumers that are buying goods directly from businesses if you're B2C, is text messaging. It's important to note that text messaging advertising is only allowed for nonprofits. The TCPA law was updated about 3 or 4 years ago. And since then, only specifically hospitals, schools, universities, charities, and government organizations, politicians can do this. That being said, that's more than a third of our entire economy, so it's worth mentioning. A quick tip on text messaging: you want to make sure that you keep those communications very personal in first person. You don't want to send text messages from Giant Partners. You want to send text messages from Jeremy. Get much better response, and the value of capturing a mobile number is key, obviously, because you can't text message a landline. All right, in conclusion, this is what your multi-channel game plan should be. Again, once you've tested and built that great call to action, you've perfected your customer list, and you're ready to rock and roll. In conclusion, you want to communicate simultaneously across all 4 of these channels. These 3 if you're not a nonprofit. And what that's going to do is that's going to increase response rates 400%. This is a big deal. That means that if you have a killer call to action, you got the right list, and you were to just send to one, well, you might get 100 leads. But if you send to all of them simultaneously, same people, you'll actually get 400 leads. Thank you for listening. Please reach out to me directly by filling out the form. Leave your questions and comments below, and I'll get back to them as quick as I can. We very much hope to work with you. Reach out to us if you need some help. Have a great day.